All right. How are you doing? Adrian Tepes here, and this is another episode of Whatever Happened to the Game. So today I'm talking about my most enjoyed and my most disappointing video game sequels. I realized at a point that this game episode is too much for one episode. I need to talk about more or less, to really go over the various disappointments. I guess that's how reviewing works, isn't it? You gotta go and find out. Wait, I've got. There's so much more I can explore in terms of why I dislike this or why I enjoy it so much. So, for the sake of exploration, there is plenty more to talk about, and there'll be more episodes of this. In the meantime, I have a link in the comments, or you can come on the stream as a guest. Don't worry, I'm pretty generous with those who join. Oh, got here right on time. Right on the minute, Albeleo. That's good.
Sorry, was trying to rush.
It happens sometimes. It happens. So I'm talking today about the video game sequels that I enjoyed and was most disappointed by. You're playing Word of Ecclesia tomorrow, or
Correct. That I will be streaming that. Yes.
okay, you're almost done, right?
Uh, I I just found the last villager, so I don't know. I don't know what else has to be done. So I don't know if it'll be this last. I don't know if this last stream for the year will complete the whole thing or not.
You're getting close, very close. That's all I've got
Okay.
to say without spoiling too much. Because today I'm going to be playing Curse of Darkness. If you catch it, I'll be playing Lord of the Rings, the Game Boy Advance version. But I will be going back. I think my disc for Two Towers has bitten the dust, unfortunately. So I'm going to play the Game Boy Advance version, but it's still not the same thing.
Gotcha.
But I will be playing Curse of Darkness today for the Two Towers. So there's two towers, and they're huge dungeons. So I'm going to be spending my time on a live stream going through those two towers. Yeah.
Nice.
And this is last week's episode, whatever happened to Halo 3. But I decided to go off Halo again before the last Halo episode happens next week. But now, the one that I really enjoyed as a sequel, and it is a sequel, is Metal Gear Solid. Um, so Metal Gear was way back from the late 80s, and where they started actually doing stealth action games. Games where if you aren't sneaky and you set up an alarm, you will be overwhelmed by all the guards. But Metal Gear Solid was the first Metal Gear that I would say had a wide audience. It reached in terms of selling over 7 million units for the first Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid, anyways.
Okay.
To this game, um, as we all know, Sony PlayStation was where that really started for having multiple discs per game. But otherwise, I,
Ba-
I, yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just saying back in a time when we couldn't fit everything on one disc.
Oh yeah, Resident. I've been reading because I didn't get all of these games that are multi-disc, but obviously Final Fantasy games are multiple discs for
Mm-hmm.
7 and 8. Resident Evil 2 was more than one disc, but somehow they fit it on one Nintendo 64 cartridge. Somehow, with the limit on a Nintendo 64 cartridge being 64 megabytes.
Yeah, they pulled off something incredible with that one.
I believe most of it for Resident Evil 2, anyways, was that they just didn't show the video cutscenes. They kept it within the mechanics of the game. That
Yeah,
had to be.
basically they dropped the resolution down something horrible because you can barely see anything in the game. and then I think they took out all of the
Right.
cinematics and just made like flat images.
I mean, if you want a remake for Nintendo for Resident Evil 2, use the GameCube version, not the N64.
Right.
The GameCube version is one disc, but at least keeps, it keeps about the same quality as the PlayStation version did. Because the GameCube discs, if I remember correctly, they could go up to a couple of gigabytes instead of the PS1 having a limit of 650 megabytes on their CDs. But otherwise, yeah, Metal Gear Solid multi-disc game. And I'm going to go into the videos after I talk about my own experience with it. I first played Splinter Cell, and Splinter Cell's a bit different. Splinter Cell franchise is pretty much dead at this point, but in the 2000s, it was all the hype with
Hmm.
they called it realistic, but I don't want to say realistic so much as it's something that where you feel like it could happen. I mean, it's not giant battle mechs in Splinter Cell so much as it is computer hacking. And as Sam Fisher is a specialist in tracing back hackers to the source on an international level because he's with the NSA or National Security Agency. So Splinter Cell is another good case of stealth action games, but I'd say they're a little less outlandish and more darker in their tone overall than Metal Gear Solid is.
Hmm.
So I I I literally found Metal Gear Solid because I was looking for games from the PS1 to use on the PS2 because of backwards compatibility. So that's how I got it because it's one of the most popular games for the PS1, combined with the fact that they are continuing the series on PS2 and PS3. Ugh.
This is the first. I know this is the first one on the PS1, but this is the one that started the meme format, basically, right? Where somebody just radios in to Snake.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It has the codec. I mean, you have old Metal Gear, and I'm going to show a video of the old Metal Gear as well, because the old Metal Gear just has walls of text. So I'm going to get a screen for that right now.
Hmm.
So with the old Metal Gear, and the better version is thankfully, um, it's in the remastered collection now. You can get on Steam for Metal Gear, anyways. So, but yeah, it's a little. So this is the good MSX version, Nintendo MSX version of Metal Gear Solid, and I'll get it on the thing here. Present, share screen. Yes. Uh, so this is old 16-bit graphics, just top down.
Yeah, yeah. Back on the NES, I remember.
Yeah, the NES of these games is the worst version because you just have it. You don't have known as Metal Gear. You just have a computer ridiculous.
Hmm.
But the top down, as we're going to show, and I go into Metal Gear Solid, that one is just part of it. It's genuinely 3D gameplay, and it makes no waste of the various items you get in the game. So I'm going to go over to that one. Well, thank you, Source. It's nice you play it as you used to. I could not, for the life of me, recreate the skill I had when I was a novice at playing video games.
Hmm.
So this is where you start out with the obviously the better graphics that you can now do with PlayStation compared to the old, because now you got a 500 megabyte disc. I'm gonna skip ahead at this point, but it's a good demonstration of what you get, get in this one. So,
I do like how cinematic everything is being.
right. Definitely. I mean, it's one of the things I have to say that's good about this one. Um, they remade this game for GameCube with Twin Snakes, and I have my disagreements, but they didn't waste any of the hardware improvements that they've had with the Sony PlayStation at all.
Sniper Wolf, Decoy Octopus. These are these are all obviously based off of Mega Man X.
Oh yeah, more or less.
At least the
That,
naming scheme is.
yeah, it is. Um, and the names are a little bit more weird when you go into the Japanese versions of them. So yeah, this is where you start. So you have that same overhead view, but it changes a little bit. And the big thing that I liked about this one compared to the previous is that you can have an advantage by looking farther ahead using your binoculars or thermal vision.
Hmm.
But just like any Metal Gear game, you start with no weapons at all. Kind of like Symphony of the Night.
It's kind of funny how you're basically just playing it like like the top down view at like this with the very um
Yeah,
I'm
the
trying to think of the
world
word
is oh
symmetrical design. It makes it
yeah,
feel like it's sort of like
it's an
Pac-Man 3D.
right. It's an homage to the original Metal Gear, but it gets so much better because you actually have 3D. Like you have little rooms that are vertically multiple floors on top of each other.
Mm.
And this game gets more advanced than the older Metal Gear because you literally have mapped out air vent networks that you can use to navigate the facilities with without being seen. I want to see how this player decides to approach get inside because I usually take the top, go from the top floor down because it gives me a good view of the people below when I'm sneaking. Yeah, there are some longer cutscenes in this game, but the thing about this game is that you should remember things that are spoken by characters in these cutscenes. They're not just for watching. You got to remember, okay, this character said this, Well, that fact is important to make the game easier later on. It's like, don't go to this floor. There's the floor is going to blow up. There's likely a trap and so forth.
Hmm.
As you can see in this version, they've just it's an upgrade from the earlier Metal Gear because now they have animated faces to talk.
Yeah.
I just want to see how he gets inside. Okay. Novice skill my ass. I I mean, at least from my experience, because I didn't know how to throw a grenade on the run when I first played it.
I was gonna
And
say, how did he get rid of the camera there? Did he just pop it with a
so
uh
these are chaff grenades. They contain both metal dust and EMP in the grenade. So the metal dust
mm,
messes around with any radar scans because every little speck of that metal dust will reflect the radar, so it makes it haywire. And the EMP disables electronics nearby. Oh, he took the top.
oh, is this uh Shadow Moses Island? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the first. That's Metal Gear Solid, and they reference it again in Metal Gear Solid 4.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm learning.
Yeah, so this person also didn't go through the video briefing at the beginning of the game, which really
Hmm.
helps to know what's going on. And basically, so this is very much a follow-up to Metal Gear 2. In Metal Gear 2, you supposedly killed the boss of the terrorists, and some of the survivors want his dead body back for the DNA.
Should just call them McDonald's Millers.
Oh, yeah. I've got a McDonald in my extended family. It's his middle name, though. So this is the vent, and obviously this game has it mapped vertically and horizontally how these vents go snake around inside the building.
Hmm.
So this person who's playing it really doesn't look like a novice to me because he's going in from above, which in this game it's helpful because it lets you have more visuals to the guys below you from a height advantage. And of course, I'm a little annoyed by the radio calls when I go, when I know that I'm getting out of the vent. Come on.
Hmm. Did they pop up all the time?
Yeah, but you actually have to go you have to press the select button to actually answer the call. You don't have to answer it at all,
Oh, okay.
but they're usually helpful in warning you about something.
Okay. So it's sort of like Navi from Ocarina.
Yeah, sort of. Don't get seen by the cameras. Thermal goggles, very helpful in this game. It's very helpful for the dark and for seeing electronic devices or the alarm motion sensor lasers. So your little radar thing shows the cones because that's where your enemies are looking, and
Hmm.
that's their vision. So you try to not be in their vision and try to not be too loud so they don't spot you. But I'm gonna watch here and see. Oh, he's trying to do
Oh,
a chokehold.
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's part of the 3D aspect is you can crawl under certain objects, like crawl under a tank, crawl under a truck, and so on. So now he's got to get to the elevator and make sure the elevator. Oh, because if you're waiting for the elevator, they can spot you then.
Huh. I do like that little element. It seems like a very ambitious game because I keep saying everything is everything is in camera, like
Right.
crawling around in the vents. And because it doesn't break away from anything, it definitely,
It versus, right?
yeah, it's trying to keep you in the game. I mean, the fluorescent lights there are translucent, and the pipes on the ceilings, like it's really trying to get you to feel like you're still in this facility, you know?
Definitely. And the immersion part is it's kind of mixed. I mean, I'll show you the fourth wall break I forgot to mention when we were talking about Castlevania, but here it is. The infamous "You like Castlevania, don't you?"
Oh, that's a thing?
Yes, so it happened for me because I was more or less I was more or less had a it depends what is on your memory card for your PlayStation. So because I
Mhm.
was playing Symphony of the Night, I had a save game file on my memory card. So what happens is Metal Gear Solid as a game reads your memory card and it sees what games you have saved game files for. It even becomes different when you're playing the GameCube remake because he does a similar fourth wall break, but again, it's only for the GameCube games you have saved.
Oh, interesting. It's kinda cool.
Yeah. Oh,
In no way, shape, or form does he question whether or not he's talking to a spy or wondering why he's
yeah.
talking out loud about anything. Just shut up. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the few moments I think the GameCube remake did well, is the guy actually opens the door, checks in there, and Snake just hides in the vent to not get caught. Solid Snake being the guy in the blue outfit.
Mhm.
I'll get ahead to the first kind of boss. So this is the first time they have an actual boss battle, and it's Ocelot. He's a recurring boss in the whole series.
Oh, that isn't the most, like, anime thing ever with all the with all the lines that are the
Tripwires.
strings that are holding them up.
Yeah, tripwires.
Hey, Alexander, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Alex, how are you? Yeah, Alex, I mean, it depends. That's the time that we can kind of do it at 11 in the morning. But I will, Alex, we'll have a re-released series of episodes that will be premiered at an evening time, which some people who can't make this one won't be able to make.
The Colt Single Action Club.
Yeah,
I love that he's like clearly based off of Clint Eastwood.
yeah, I did enjoy that part. And Snake is obviously inspired heavily by Snake Plissken, played by Kurt Russell as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's hard because you have to try and um, hit this guy with your gun, and he goes towards off the screen, and he runs too. And you can't shoot Kenneth Baker with your shots either. So no, this is not novice skill either.
I love to reload during a battle. Oh wow, I like how there's a little laser that pops up and shows that you're targeting the fat guy.
Yeah. So you got the laser in the truck when you're before you entered the hangar. That's the laser sight for the SOCOM pistol,
Mm-hmm. Oh
which
good lord, this
I
fight is
believe that
annoying.
I believe this pistol is meant to be based off a Beretta with an extended magazine, considering you have what 25 or an MP5, 25 rounds in a magazine. That's a lot.
Okay. Oh, he could have
So
just unloaded on him and took it out.
yeah, but this is before you get the extra life capacity in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did notice his life is really small compared to the bosses.
Yeah, so each after each boss, you essentially get an upgrade in your life, your capacity. I'll move on to another part of this because it's going to be time for me to not forget
What?
from a ninja. Come on, that's very anime-esque too.
What just happened?
So
Oh, he's cloaked. Oh,
the ninja, yeah, the ninja cut his arm off with the sword.
that's interesting. I did like the cloak effect. That was pretty nice for a
It
PS1
is.
game.
You gotta remember, it's a spy game. There's tons of lies, always. So I'm gonna pause this quickly. So the 1.4.15, if you got the original PlayStation version of this game, you had to actually look inside your CD case because this is both a fourth wall break and it was an anti-piracy measure. So you had to actually look in your case to see what your CD serial number was to get the radio frequency to call the lady known as Meryl.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Were people really pirating PS1 games back in the day? Like, it doesn't.
I mean, the CD burning technology existed at that
Yeah,
point,
yeah, I do forget about that. Nero and whatnot.
but
Yeah, I guess so.
but yeah. So you had to get the actual case and read the number inside your actual CD to know the number in game to call Meryl. I thought that was a little bit annoying. Um, Thankfully, there's a PDF manual that you read for that in the Steam version of this game, but it was it was a little weird in the original
Mm.
game.
I actually really like those kinds of details where they include and make use of the manual and the case and whatnot.
Yeah, it's similar to the these conversations. Like Meryl's telling you things you need to know, like that make the game easier if you know the details that these characters tell you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Chaos, how you doing?
Chaos, how are you doing, brother?
Oh, the fat dude died of a heart attack? Are we kidding?
You think it's a heart attack?
That's hilarious. Couldn't possibly be that he was strung up like a saw, like it was a saw puzzle. Couldn't, he didn't get stabbed by the new cloaking ninja. No, his heart just couldn't take it.
Well, you think it's a heart attack. You get more clues later. That's part of the immersion in this game, is that
Yeah,
there's a mystery to it.
yeah. It's just funny that that's what
Yeah,
they say is what happened.
yeah, it is. He's gonna test this, oh no, he's gonna get the box. So you've probably seen this in Super Smash Brothers where Snake puts a box over himself. That's what he's
Yeah.
gonna get. That's what he's gonna go get right now when he gets around the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I did I ever tell you? I think I told you in an earlier episode that they actually like tricked security systems with the Marine Corps training exercise by hiding underneath cardboard boxes in real life.
You're kidding.
No, I mean the basic point is that like AI is stupid as a security system without a human controlling it.
Mm-hmm.
So they the Marines were trying to they were trying to test the limits of the security system. So they hid underneath cardboard boxes, and if a person was controlling the security system and not an AI, they would recognize, okay, the box is moving, it's actually a person. But by
It couldn't.
itself, the AI didn't. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So basically, they played Metal Gear Solid in real
They
life with
played Metal
cardboard
Gear and
boxes.
thought, why not? Let's do it, and they won. It's insane.
Okay, Chaos. I'd be interested in checking out your live stream. Just post when you're going to do it. All right, like Chaos, are you going to play the which one? Like one, two, or three?
Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Towers.
That's the remake. Like, does your GameCube copy still works? Are you kidding me? Looks bad, but it still plays? What? What? So I just want to skip this to show the thermal goggles real quick. But yeah,
Hmm.
thermal goggles show lasers for security systems. But that's what it's going to be for now. But I'm going to now go into what my disappointments were.
Yes. So, which is the most disappointing sequel to you?
Oh, it was this one that I realized I need more than one episode because you're going to do a later one about what disappointed you, but I realized I can't just do this in one episode to talk about both my favorite sequels and my most disappointing. But System Shock 2 was a disappointment to me. Um, it became less of a computer hacking game, but and more of a simple horror shooting game. I mean, it's fine. It's somewhat of a predecessor to BioShock, but to me, it didn't feel like the original System Shock. In the original System Shock, you had cyberspace, and System Shock 2 doesn't even have that until the end. And it's not really technically that. It's not like the cyberspace of System Shock. It's more of the because you're going around inside, and I'll show it too. You're going around inside to get from one computer to access another. It's similar to the Matrix, um, or Tron. That even Tron's a better example of what this is representing
Okay.
in System Shock. But there's essentially two worlds in System Shock. In the original System Shock, you have and I've got it right here, so this should be pretty good. It's the remake, but it should work. But you don't have as much of this of the cyberspace aspect. So I'm gonna go into here. And, so it's the remake, but you're going to go into cyberspace to access a remote computer in the station. You can kind of see how you linked yourself inside of it to go into virtual reality mode.
Hmm. Hey, Shadow, how you doing?
Shadow, how are you doing? Yeah,
Holy
System Shock.
Bible of Cyberpunk.
It is
Okay.
like Cyberpunk games. System Shock was 1994, and there was Shadowrun, as I learned. That's an RPG, but it was pen and paper until 93 or 94 when they came up with the games for SNES and Sega Genesis.
Yeah, yeah.
There is
I
Shadowrun
remember reading
Returns.
up on those.
There is Shadowrun Returns, but it's I don't know. I think it's still good, but
Yeah,
it's
because
not
wasn't that was just a multiplayer on the 360, right?
Shadowrun Returns. No,
Yeah, or am I thinking of another one?
well, there's other Shadowruns, but Shadowrun Returns is for mainly for PC and it's on Steam. It's still available on Steam. But you play as a top-down RPG, similar to Fallout or Baldur's Gate. So here you are in cyberspace. I need to blow up the security nodes to get access to the next terminal at another part of the station.
Hmm.
But you obviously fly around and shoot at the nodes like it's Star Wars or Star Fox.
Really? The sequel sold poorly on its release.
Yeah, it sold terribly on its release, even worse than the first.
Hmm.
I think there was part of a rush in production, and they're financially looking last year is doing terribly as well. Not so well as all, but I'm going to show a little bit of System Shock too because it wouldn't be complete without that.
Was the basic structure of the game similar to the first one, or was it a large departure?
It's different because you have character classes that you play as, and you have skill trees in this new one. So System Shock 2 is similar to Deus Ex, that game series,
Okay.
but same villain. She's teased right here, Shodan, the
Hmm.
female AI that's trying to destroy you. But it has a very different how he starts. This is training, but it's somewhat behind what Half-Life was in terms of graphics and in terms of the mechanics. Half-Life being released in 1998, but it is 3D at this point.
People recognize the sequel more than the original. Really?
Yeah, yeah, they recognize this the sequel because it's mentioned a lot when as the predecessor to BioShock. Um, so Ken Levine, you've probably heard about him for BioShock. Ken Levine was the main writer for System Shock 2. Um,
Mm.
he was not in System Shock, in the original System Shock. That in the first System Shock, it was Warren Spector who was the main writer, but he left for the long production of Deus Ex, the first Deus Ex.
Uh-huh.
So Ken Levine took over for System Shock 2. System Shock 2 sold poorly, but Ken Levine said, this looks like an interesting concept. I want to make this on a game. And since they're now are going to have consoles and PC games shared, he made one called BioShock, which borrows a lot of mechanics from System Shock 2, like hacking the vending machine, like you see here.
Hmm. Wait, see, I'm only seeing your slide.
Oh, yeah? Oops, let me see. All right, let's try this again. There we go.
There we go.
I'm going to go ahead to. I'll get to where the story starts. This is where it starts, and you'll find it's probably very similar to Quake 2, the Quake games, in terms of how it's graphically set up and in terms of how you move around and shoot.
2014. Yeah, weird how that didn't happen.
2141, yeah.
Oh, was it 41? I thought it was
20, it's
14. My bad.
2141. It's funny because that's the time, that's the year that the Doom game, the first Doom game happened, 2141.
Yeah, crazy how we're gonna like let every one of these sci-fi futures down.
I think Fallout is possibly the future that happens. Although I hope
Right.
that I hope that what is it? I kind of hope that Warhammer is the future instead. Although we have tens of thousands of years to worry about Warhammer coming true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in certain elements, yes.
So this is where you get to see your character, the goggles always over his eyes, and he's being let out of the cryotube.
Yeah, just throw up a kidney. Why not?
Yeah, as you can see, the graphics haven't quite caught up in this game compared to other games in 1999.
it those goggles look so funny. It's like the step above Perfect Dark for character models.
Yeah, this is it's about a 200 megabyte game.
Kind of funny how classic sci-fi depicted 2012. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's one of those kind of almost disappointing elements about uh the way history has been denied progression, because we could have easily probably had like flying cars and whatnot by now, and
right.
they just,
I think
it
they're just
just didn't
scared
happen.
about liability for flying cars because there are remote controlled. You don't get to drive it. They're in they shown in Korea and Japan. There are hovering vehicles, but you don't control it. Other
Mm,
people control it for you and fly you to where you're going to go. So you're in a remote controlled car that you don't control because they're worried about the safety of you piloting the thing with rotors. And I can understand that because I wouldn't want to have a car falling out of the sky for whatever reason.
yeah, you'd have an awful lot of accidents. You'd have an awful lot of accidents and a lot of people going through windows. That's for sure.
The FAA is crazy enough with what they have to take care of with regular airplanes. You want to add cars to that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the beginning right here. And let me
Oh,
so yeah, the creatures in this game overall are just it's in an awkward spot because it's when 3D and 3D is new for first person shooters relatively, but they don't quite get the things that made System Shock in this game. Like you don't get to see that cyberspace to activate access elsewhere.
oh, okay. So did they alter or outright remove the hacking?
It's they have hacking, but it's not like cyberspace. You have to actually like do a connect the sticks puzzle, which you did do for repairing objects, broken objects in System Shock, but it's it's not cyberspace.
Gotcha.
It makes it less of a cyberpunk game and more of a heart survival shooting game. And that was my disappointment with it.
Oh, so they just knocked it down a genre and took it away from what it used to be.
You're right. I mean, if he didn't call it System Shock, I would actually have a higher opinion of it.
Okay.
A much higher opinion.
Gotta love how they just have these big terminals that say information. It's like the message boxes from Super Mario World.
Yeah, it, I was. I think you beat me to that one.
One thing I always thought was funny was how Walt Disney thought people movers would be the future of getting to places.
Yeah, so I'll get back to the main part here.
Oh, like the tubes in Futurama.
Yeah,
By the way, if anybody has not seen it, Futurama on Hulu, the newest season, it's pretty damn funny.
okay. I mean, The Simpsons has lost its way for quite some time. It's a mess.
Oh yeah, no, the Futurama is actually funny. My lady
Uh,
and I were really concerned about certain things, but so far so good.
I mean, I couldn't stay on The Simpsons because it jumps everywhere in an episode, and that was years ago. I just like I can't watch this. This isn't The
Hmm.
Simpsons I used to know. So thanks for letting me know that Futurama hasn't gone the same off the rails route as Futurama. Futurama's not gone off the rails like The Simpsons. Yeah, I did Shadow Master. It's just that it's tough to explain. It's like I'm talking about the 1998 film called Godzilla, because as a monster movie, it's okay, but it does not represent Godzilla well in any way. And I'm pretty sure Albeleo agrees with me on that analogy.
Yeah.
It's like some salamander movie, or iguana, I think it is. It's not
Iguana.
Godzilla. Okay. Yeah, so System Shock 2 is an okay game for survival and horror, but it's not a System Shock game. It's not a cyberpunk game the way the previous one was. So I'm glad that System Shock, the original System Shock, got a newer update in 2023 with new graphics, and it plays pretty well.
Hmm.
So next week, whatever happened to Halo Reach? So we're going to talk about the prequel that came long before Rogue One by a number of years, and which I prefer over Call of Duty. At least Halo Reach anyways. So it should be pretty fun. It's the end of the Halo games because I just haven't really bothered going beyond Halo Reach into Halo 4 and so on. I just wanted to relive that prequel where the Spartans are still alive.
Yeah, where there's not the discount ones like Lock.
Yeah. Although to be fair, Locke was after Halo 3, so they probably would have made new Spartans from that point. But I'm just saying, back before you had the first Halo game and you get to see how that whole battle on the planet Reach was.
Hmm.
Yeah, Futurama, there's got to be some different writer on Futurama because The Simpsons is a total mess in every episode. I mean, I'm someone who enjoyed The Simpsons for years up until they actually came out with the Simpsons movie. But after this, it's like someone who can't even pay attention to what they're writing is writing The Simpsons. So I just left it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was really worried after uh Disenchantment had came out. And like obviously Disenchantment sucked, and so it didn't continue after what, like 2 seasons or whatever. And I know like nobody likes Simpsons and hasn't since at least the movie. So I was really worried going into this, but so far, like genuinely, the first like 6 or 7 episodes, however many my lady and I have watched, every one of them has had us just laughing.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that Futurama is still doing something well. I think there's got to be someone who reined in some of the writing because or there's got to even be different writers because Simpsons is just it goes all over the place. It even went to the point of like having them go into the real world as puppets. Like, okay, what's going on? They've got to be out of ideas or something.
Hmm. No, it even picks up right where it left off.
It does, like Futurama.
Yeah,
That's
like exactly where it left off. Yeah.
that's good. Sounds really good. But next next week is whatever happened to Halo Reach, and Albeleo is doing the next one when we schedule it of our favorite and most disappointing game sequels. So I'll get to find out what you like and were disappointed by.
Yeah, I got to really figure this one out because there are so many There's so many that I really like, and there are a lot that I hate.
Oh, I realize that too. I realize there's a lot of games I don't like. So this is going to be more than one episode about favorite and disappointment.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe one idea could be like what Final Fantasy game really disappointed you? Which one you really enjoyed or something of that sort.
Yeah, I gotta really sit down and make the comparisons because there's Zelda, there's Final Fantasy. I mean, like the only ones that I'm like not like really frustrated with would be something like Doom.
Yeah,
Pretty much everything
mine
else just
would be.
blows.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's next week, same time, same channel. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I'll be playing Castlevania Curse of Darkness later today in the afternoon, so that should be fun. And Albeleo will be playing Order of Ecclesia. Should be great as well. I hope you finish it. And
Yeah, I don't know if I will finish it. I'll probably definitely get into whatever the next major location is. Um, if I don't finish it, I'll probably just pick it up back in January because tomorrow will be the last stream that I do for the year. Because I really need the time off. I know I've like these last couple months it's just been a mess and I haven't gotten anything out. Um,
oh, it
but
happens.
come January, I've got a bunch of things planned, and I'm probably going to do a lot of catch up reviews like Wicked and Gladiator 2 as well.
All right.
So I will get around to a lot of that.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on the week before Christmas and Christmas. I'm just gonna be playing earlier episodes of this stream instead of doing live because I'll be busy with my obligations for the holidays.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone, have a good night. Have a good day. Good night wherever you are, and I'll see you again Thursday for the last live stream with Halo Reach. Other than that, we will be premiering episodes that have happened earlier. So,
All right.
all right. Goodbye. And
Thanks for
simply
coming, everybody. See you tomorrow.